Welcome, friends of the channel. So we're here at Harbour Cars. I am joined by Mr. Andy Brooks.
Good day.
You doing all right, mate?
Oh, very well, very well.
Good. So,
good to be here.
Yeah, likewise, mate, likewise. So we've been on the road today. We're actually hopping along somewhere else for a podcast. But we've swung into here at Harbour Cars for a number of reasons. There's always so many great cars in stock here, but we notice that there's a lot of variety and flavour, particularly up to that like £50,000 mark, which in Porsche circles is like the thick end of the wedge. So lots of variety. So as Andy and I were browsing on the Numworks marketplace, prior to our arrival, there were two cars in particular that caught our eye that at face value are quite similar.
Very, aren't they? Yeah.
But actually have a different intended output.
Yeah, there's definitely a different feel to them. You could, looking through the specs, pretty much the same car, but then when you actually look into the detail, there's a lot of differences.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd get quite spotty with you and investigate same car but just different options to show how important spec is. So the car is
a 981 GTS.
Yes, Cayman. So tin top, and they're both for sale here at Harbour Cars at 46k.
Yeah, exactly the same amount of money.
Exactly the same. We'll dive into like spec and mileage. Both ready to go. Both ready for some great miles. And luckily, Andy and I are going to do a couple now.
Yeah, let's get in.
Here's the two identically priced Porsches to catch our eye at Harbour Cars. Both 981 Cayman GTSs with lavish, albeit differing specs. The white car resplendent in sport seats and manual gearbox. It's a Gates Grey sister boasting folding buckets and PDK. So how do they drive? Let's find out with a short trip on local roads. Let's get settled, turn that off. I've said before that we haven't really covered the 981 platform so much on this channel, and it is something I would love to change. Well, we are, because we're starting it today, really. So really, the whole point of this video is to demonstrate just how much specs can change, not only the look, but like the feel and the drive of these Porsches. And this is why we've got 981 Cayman versus 981 Cayman, both 335 horsepower, naturally aspirated, flat six, rear engine coupes, but the spec that their owners decided to go with at the time means that they are kind of different cars and give a different flavour of the 981 Cayman GTS experience. So it really is choose your flavour. So the 6-speed manual, it's a lovely throw. It's a beautiful throw, actually. Short through the gates, none of the clunkiness that you got of the 991 generation of the time. Okay. And the 981 platform just allows you to put so much power down on the road. It's an engaging little drive. Oh, I love that shift. I really, really do like that shift. Sport seats, good enough hold, really comfortable as well. This car rides slightly higher than the Agate car. We'll explore that later on. Whoever spec'd these cars new, hats off to you. Clear intention with what you're going for. With this one, very evidently to me, it's all about driving thrills on the road. The manual provides engagement. Again, I keep going on about how nice that shift is. Pedal placement, really nice. Allowing you to get on with that sort of business. While the sports seats are easy enough to get in and out of. I'm super impressed, actually. I'd forgotten just how low the seats sit you in the car. You've still got room to move. It's not kind of strapping you in place so much that you can't breathe. So for road-going Porsche thrills, this is a great package. Let's see what Andy says with the seat and shifter combo.
Oh, little short legs. What a lovely interior this is. Lots of Alcantara. Nice bit of red stitching, red gauge. sounds fantastic. Really nice clutch and gearbox action. Nicely damped, taking the road well. This is quite a bumpy section of road, and taking it really nicely, not crashing at all. The throw and action of this gear lever is really nice. Really nicely judged. Enjoying rowing the gears. Seats I'm finding are a good fit for my bottom. Fitting nicely. Lots of support, but not pinching me. Well, I'm just going to have a little play with buttons. So, sport exhaust. What does that do? So, pop it on. Oh, that really intensifies the noise. Yeah, that's nice. But nice to be able to turn it off as well. And try a bit of sport. Oh, you can really, Sport Plus, you can really feel the suspension harden up. It's enough for me in normal mode. I don't need the sport stuff, to be honest. It feels a lovely road car.
That's the manual car. Now to try the PDK Cayman with Andy going first.
Right then, bash my head as I was getting in. Buckets throw you a little bit higher. We've got PDK in here. Alcantara again, but we've got Alcantara on the steering wheel this time. So it'll be interesting to see what this feels like. The suspension in this sort of standard setting is definitely more jiggery. I wonder if the ride feels a little harder in this because of the buckets, so you're not getting the absorption of the seats. Yeah, I've got to say I miss the engagement of the manual gear lever and the clutch pedal.
I am excited. So this is a totally different kettle of fish. Buckets, PDK, and I mentioned like the intentions of previous owner. This was very clearly fast road, but with track use involved as well. And it takes a couple of corners. Oh yes, to just dial in. Oh, even with that little slip. So it's got, as well as the obvious that you can see, PDK and the bucket seats, which are folding, you do sit slightly higher. This has got sports suspension, so it's firmer than the white car. It's also got, because it's PDK, it's got Porsche torque vectoring, which is basically an electronically operated diff. Sport Plus. No, I'm going Sport, Andy B. Sport Plus on the road, you nutter. And he's turned stop start off. Love it, he's such an old man. So, look, yeah, difference is right away, I'm sitting higher, flick down on the PDK to get going. There's a lot of travel with the paddles compared to like modern Porsche Metal. It's funny under the march of time how you pick up on these things, but yeah, definitely a lot more travel to the shift. Remember, there's water here. Slow, responsible. So I'm already thinking that the manual shift, and that is a lovely manual shift in the white car that we're comparing today, I just think that unlocks a little bit more the GTS engine. It doesn't spin up so quickly as it does in 911 form. So just having a little bit of that extra human interaction, I think, just adds to the experience, possibly elevates the thrill of the car a little bit more. PDK is so clinical, I feel like it's a little bit slow to spin up by comparison. I feel like even the steering weight is different here. I wonder if we've got cruise control, I wonder if there's power steering plus on the other car. But I feel like the weighting of it is different. I prefer the seats in this car, it has to be said. I find these the most comfortable modern Porsche seats you can get, actually. They're brilliant lateral hold as well. They're better than the 918 seats, the fixed buckets, as far as I'm concerned. Even if you do sit slightly higher, that is like the main gripe. It's not a problem at all for me. The sport chassis though rides really nicely. I thought it'd be a bit too firm, but it's not at all actually. Really nice. Just the right amount of sharpness while still being supple enough to be comfortable on our absolutely terrible roads. The seats, might I add, should be the preferred choice because when new they were just under £2,000 as an option, so not shy by any stretch of the imagination. Factor in like PDK, Porsche torque vectoring as well. There's a lot spent on this car. Bearing in mind they're both 46995 at Harbour, you'd argue that there's more value packed into this one in terms of like option spec as new. That's just me though. Let's head back to base, see what Andy thinks, and in between us, try and pick a winner.
How interesting was that?
Because we haven't spoken at all, have we?
No.
This is going to be virgin material, as it were.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So you were really excited to get in that agate grey car.
Yes.
PDK, full buckets.
Yeah, Porsche torque vectoring on there as well, sport chassis. There's a lot more, bearing in mind they're both at 46995 out of the box. That has, you would argue, at face value, more value built into it.
Yes,
in terms of what's
a lot
on that
more
spec
options
sheet.
on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was excited. What was your thought pre-drive?
Pre-drive, I liked the look of the agate grey. Thought the buckets looked good. Thought that'd be cool. Fancied more the white car for the manual gearbox. So yeah, I felt that the agate grey was probably going to be the theoretical winner for the look and what the spec was. How about you? You were excited for the agate grey.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, and even so, when we were doing the drive-by, you got some behind the scenes. Andy was doing the driving, and I was at the side of the road doing the filming. And even like just watching that car, the way that came towards and went round the corner in that agate grey.
Yeah,
What a beautiful car.
It does look good. Yeah.
The colour I think really helps accentuate the body.
Yes,
and it's a
the
fantastic
curves.
body.
Agreed.
So I was getting excited even just filming it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, then jumping into it, I just felt like that manual car unlocked a bit more 981 GTS.
Huge for me.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Really did. I felt so connected to it because the seats were slightly lower. The sofas, I'm sure, sit lower than the buckets do.
They do.
So you felt more in it.
Yeah.
The ride was softer over the... What was it? X73. Manual gearbox was great. Ride was great. Exhaust on the standard setting. All standard settings I loved. As soon as I started playing around with it, it was all too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the white car.
I'd said this when filming. It's almost not a fair test because both cars are exquisitely spec. The agate grey car clearly has like some track work in mind, and obviously we've not explored that car on the track today. It's just been on the road.
It would have been amazing.
So that I think will really step onto that, and I think once you get that onto a track, that will really kick on in terms of like your engagement with the car and how you feel of it. I found the bucket to be super comfortable. It's my favourite throne in any modern Porsche, that folding bucket. And it's not knocking the sports seat. It's wonderful, but I feel like that bucket just locks you in without overbearing you.
Now, I'm sure I made a comment on when I was driving that I wondered if the jigginess of the car was actually to do with the seat for me, in that I was perhaps a little bit held and it was quite firm. Was it the chassis that was giving me that effect, or was it the seat? I was a little bit unsure.
That PDK bucket car, I'd love to get that on a dry country road and try and stick it to like a 911 of some description, because I think that car will be an absolute weapon. So well naturally balanced anyway. With PDK, you're only ever like, a tenth of a second away from the correct gear.
Yeah.
Porsche torque vectoring with the sport chassis, I just think that will be so nicely planted and able to put the power down. I guess, and again, this is where it just comes down to personal preference. I just felt that where the PDK was so good coming up and down the gears, it showed the engine to be a Carrera S engine that's slightly detuned. I was almost waiting for a little bit to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas in the manual, you're just dialing into it and you're almost accept its foibles, and it's down to you to
to row it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where I was. It was falling into that platform was a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But we have to pick a winner because picking a winner is fun. So which car are you going for, Andy?
I'm taking the white car all day long.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I felt very comfortable in it. I felt very connected to it. It just felt my sort of car.
Yes.
I can't believe how different the agate grey car felt.
Yeah.
And how not the car for me it was.
Yeah.
It's amazing the spec difference. How about you?
I'll join you on that if that's okay. Yeah. So maybe we'll go Plan Z on it.
Yes.
And there is 2 seats after all. So, but yeah, for the same reasons. But I think that what this exercise has shown is for exactly the same money, just how much of a different experience you can get. So spec choice is important, and there's not really a wrong or a right car, or a good or a bad car. It's the wrong or right car for you and your lifestyle. For now, thanks to the guys at Harbour Cars for giving Andy and I seat time. That was great fun today.
Was.
And let's do another geek out soon on specs.
Sounds good.
Amazing.
Cheers.
Cheers all.